They say when a man loves deeply, he builds everything around that love. His choices, his dreams, his future. That was true for Arjun, a simple man with big ambitions, who started a logistics startup from a small rented room. He met Anya during the early days of his hustle. She was smart, articulate, and full of marketing brilliance. He fell for her not just because of her beauty, but because she made him believe they were building something together. Not just a company, but a life. Within a year, they married. The early years were magical. Chai at midnight, fights over fonts for their logo, and holding hands through uncertain investor meetings. Arjun often said, "We built this," never, "I built this." That was the kind of man he was. Fair, loyal, invested. But as the company grew, so did the distance. Anya began changing, subtly but surely. She stopped asking about shipments, then started talking about brand retreats. Her weekends filled with summits. Her phone buzzed at odd hours. Arjun tried to keep up. Flowers on Fridays, vacations when he could squeeze time. But something inside him told him the woman he loved was slowly drifting out of reach. Still, he trusted her. Until that one Sunday morning. She had gone for a walk. Her phone left on the table. A message flashed across the screen from someone saved as R. It read, "Still wearing your shirt. Last night was incredible." Arjun's hands didn't shake. He unlocked the phone. There it was. Months of chats, hidden hotel bookings, photos, even plans to extract funds before leaving. The man was Rohit, a venture capitalist Arjun had once pitched to. Betrayal doesn't always come like a storm. Sometimes it walks in silently and sits across the table. That day, Arjun didn't scream or cry. He just stared at the screen, quietly, and a new part of him awakened. Not rage, not sorrow, but a deep, cold resolve. He didn't confront her. Instead, he began to calculate. Over the next few months, Arjun rewrote the script of their lives. He quietly started moving assets out of reach, forming holding companies, shifting nominee details, and cutting her name out of anything that mattered. He turned his startup into a fortress. He consulted lawyers, hired discreet investigators, and created a master file of betrayal. Screenshots, emails, financial trails, everything. Meanwhile, Anya remained oblivious, laughing with her phone on the balcony, still playing house with the man she was plotting to abandon. She didn't realize that the man she thought she'd outsmarted was already 5 steps ahead. Arjun chose his day carefully. Their 6th wedding anniversary. He booked a table at the luxury resort where they'd once honeymooned. She was surprised, flattered even, thinking he was trying to rekindle things. She wore her best dress. They dined under dim lights and soft jazz. When dessert arrived, Arjun slid a small velvet box toward her. Inside was a silver pen. "Will you sign something for me?" he asked gently. Laughing, she opened the second envelope. Her smile vanished. It was divorce papers. And then he placed a thick folder on the table, filled with every detail of her affair, financial betrayal, and intellectual theft. She stuttered, panicked, begged, but he was unmoved. Calmly, Arjun said, "You can either sign this quietly or face what's coming. Lawsuits, public scandal, frozen assets. But know this, you're not ruining me. You already taught me too well for that." Then he stood up, nodded to her one last time, and walked away. From the table, the marriage, and the version of himself that used to beg for love. He left behind not a man broken, but a man reborn. In the months that followed, Arjun completed the divorce. She got nothing. No alimony, no stake, not even sympathy. The scandal hit Rohit harder. His deals collapsed, and his name vanished from the investor circle. Arjun never spoke publicly. He didn't need to. He just built. Faster, sharper, better. A year later, his company was acquired in a landmark deal. 200 crores. The press called him a self-made genius. What they didn't know was he had also become self-healed. One evening, Arjun sat by the window of his new penthouse, watching the city lights blink like distant memories. He wasn't bitter. He didn't hate her. In fact, he had forgiven her, not for her sake, but for his own peace. But he would never forget the lesson betrayal taught him. That love can blind you, but betrayal teaches you to see. And in that quiet, shining moment, he smiled, not because he had won, but because he had survived without turning cruel.